Welcome to the Campbell Museums. A mundane object like a medical electricity at home kit has a few stories it can tell, but in this video I explore just one of these stories. Think of this video as the abridged history behind medical electricity at home. This video is part of our What's in the Box series, where I pull a box from storage and see what we find inside. So check out the box number 3 playlist for more. To understand why people in the late 1800s would give themselves electric shocks as medicine, let's back up and set the scene of Victorian-era medical and electrical knowledge. We begin the 1800s with a general understanding of human anatomy, but little was known of biochemistry, endocrinology, or germs. In this world, smallpox, cholera, measles, and other infectious diseases were caused by miasma, also called bad air, which was believed to be created by rotting organic material. People seemed to understand there was a connection between poor sanitation and disease, but they thought it was simply the vapors and smells that made one ill. Treatment relied heavily on change of air, inducing vomiting or using laxatives, and bleeding to clear impurities from the body. Due to the limited range of medicine available, the power of prayer was often invoked. Water and airborne infection was not an accepted theory. By the mid-1800s, medical science began to advance. Anesthesia was developed in the late 1840s, helping to advance surgery. Germ theory replaced miasma theory thanks to discoveries by Dr. John Snow in 1854, who demonstrated that cholera infection was spread by contaminated water, and by Louis Pasteur, who laid the foundations of germ theory in the 1860s. Germ theory led to the use of sterilization and antiseptic surgical procedures. New technologies like the ophthalmoscope, improved microscopes, the chemograph, and the stethoscope also helped doctors monitor and diagnose people's health. But all of these advances were mainly based on the prevention and monitoring of disease, not on curing it. Rigorous hygiene only went so far, and chemical pharmacology was in its infancy. As a result, many conditions remained chronic or incurable. These medical limitations perpetuated the use of alternative therapies like homeopathy, herbal medicine, hydropathy, mesmerism, and Galvanism, as well as blatant fraudulence through the promotion of useless pills, powders, and potions. Since ancient times, humans have observed electricity through lightning, static electricity, and even animals that provide a shock. But the science behind electricity remained a mystery until the late 1700s and early 1800s. In 1791, Luigi Galvani discovered a relationship between electricity and muscle tissue, calling it animal electricity, the vital force which gave life to organic matter. While Galvani misinterpreted his results, his discovery led to the invention of the first electric battery, a voltaic pile, by Alessandro Volta in 1800. By 1821, we get the precursor to the electric motor. By 1862, electricity, magnetism, and light were definitively linked together, which laid the foundation for modern physics. Amazing as these discoveries were, the average person in 1862 would have been ignorant of electricity beyond the story of Frankenstein. But more on that later. This changed in the 1870s when Thomas Edison envisioned an electrical grid that could deliver power to homes and businesses, and developed the light bulb to sell people on his idea. Quickly, Victorian-era Americans were fascinated by the potential and mystery of electricity. Now that we understand Victorian-era medical and electrical knowledge, we can explore how our object sits at the intersection of these developing sciences. Electric medicine, sometimes called Galvanism, after Luigi Galvani, is the act of using electricity to treat medical ailments. In the early 1800s, Galvani's nephew conducted sensational electrical experiments, often making use of a voltaic pile to demonstrate the effect of electricity on dead bodies. His most famous demonstration was on the recently hanged body of convict George Forster at the Royal College of Surgeons in London. Spectators looked on in wonder as they witnessed what looked like a dead man come to life. Inspired by these experiments, Mary Shelley made Galvanism the science behind Frankenstein's monster. Perhaps a corpse would be reanimated. Galvanism had given token of such things. While galvanism could not bring back the dead, the idea that electricity could be harnessed for medical benefit was embraced, and treatments using galvanism were widely touted as cure-alls. By the 1870s, proponents of galvanism claimed it could relieve pain, as well as cure numerous diseases such as cancer, consumption, diabetes, gangrene, heart disease, lockjaw, and even spinal deformities. Our medical electricity at home kit sat in the nexus of medicine, consumerism, and quackery. Galvanism was seen as a legitimate science, but marketing it to the masses while claiming to be a cure-all places the artifact into the realm of Victorian-era snake oil medicine. Many methods were used to deliver electric shock over the decades, including electric baths, Pulvermasher's chain, Odin's coils, and Leyden jars. With our artifact, the patient would hold the handles and the machine would deliver a mild electrical current. The source of electricity in our object is a dry cell battery. Unlikely. That said, while early uses of electricity for medical treatment were quackery, the concept does hold promise. Today, electrotherapy is primarily used in physical therapy, but other uses, including neurological treatments, are under scientific review. Mundane objects can contain big stories, and this medical electricity at home kit had a lot to say. What other stories might it tell?